Clint Eastwood catches a bully red-handed, you won't believe what happens next. He was smiling when they took his backpack. Not a friendly smile. The kind that dares you to blink. A teenage boy stood frozen in the middle of a crowded bus stop. 3 older bullies circling him, laughing, digging through his bag like it was their property. People looked away. Phones came out. No one moved. Except one old man sitting quietly on a bench. A man with tired eyes. A calm face. And a name nobody recognized at first. Why did the biggest bully suddenly stop laughing? Why did his hand start shaking? And why did the air around that bench suddenly feel dangerous? Because the old man slowly stood up. And what he did next would flip the entire street into chaos. No one expected him to step in. No one imagined what he was about to say. And absolutely no one was ready for what happened after. Some moments change lives forever. Not because of luck. Not because of money. But because of courage. In a world where cameras come out faster than helping hands. Where cruelty is treated like entertainment. And where bullies feel untouchable. One quiet act of bravery can shake everything. Today's story is about power. Not the loud kind. Not the violent kind. But the kind that walks slowly, speaks calmly. And still stops evil in its tracks. It's about a boy who almost lost more than his backpack. About a crowd that chose comfort over conscience. And about an old man no one paid attention to. Until it was already too late. What happens next will make your heart pound. It will make your blood boil. And it will remind you why standing up still matters. Because sometimes, the person you least expect is the most dangerous person to mess with. And sometimes, justice doesn't shout. It whispers first. Then it strikes. The bus stop on Lincoln Avenue had seen everything. Arguments. Drunks. Late-night fights. Tears. Police sirens. But that afternoon felt wrong. Too quiet. A 16-year-old boy named Marcus stood near the bench, gripping his backpack straps like they were the only thing keeping him upright. Inside that bag was his entire world. His school laptop. His notebooks. His mother's lunch packed in a brown paper bag. And an envelope with rent money his mom trusted him to drop at the landlord's office. 3 boys approached him. Big. Loud. Confident. The leader wore a red hoodie. Gold chain. Sharp eyes. He smiled. Nice bag, he said. You won't need it. Before Marcus could react, hands yanked him backward. His backpack was ripped off his shoulders. Papers spilled across the sidewalk like fallen feathers. People noticed. People stared. People did nothing. Someone whispered. Someone recorded. Someone laughed. The bullies opened the bag. They dumped it. They kicked his notebooks. They stepped on his food. They found the envelope. Red Hoodie pulled out the cash. His smile widened. Rent money, he said. Ouch. Marcus' voice cracked. Please, that's not mine, it's my mom's. Red Hoodie tilted his head. Then tell your mom thank you. They laughed. And then. Someone stood up. An old man who had been sitting quietly on the bench. Gray hair. Worn jacket. Calm eyes. He had been invisible. Until he wasn't. He walked slowly toward them. Put it back, he said. Not loud. Not angry. Just steady. Red Hoodie turned. And who are you supposed to be, Grandpa? The old man didn't answer. He just stepped closer. Put it back. Something in his voice shifted the air. Red Hoodie hesitated. Then laughed. Or what? The old man's eyes locked onto his. You really don't want to find out. The boys laughed again. The crowd waited for the old man to back down. He didn't. He stepped between Marcus and the bullies. I said put it back. Red Hoodie shoved him hard. The old man didn't fall. He barely moved. That's when the smile disappeared. Because the man finally spoke his name. Clint Eastwood. The laughter stopped. Someone gasped. Phones froze mid-record. Red Hoodie's face drained. You're lying. Clint took off his sunglasses. No. And for the first time, the bullies realized they were standing in front of something far more dangerous than they ever expected. But what happens next changes everything. The street didn't breathe anymore. It just waited. Red Hoodie stared at Clint Eastwood like he'd just seen a ghost step out of an old black and white movie. You're not, he whispered. Clint didn't blink. I am. The other two boys stepped back slowly. Not because Clint raised his voice. Not because he threatened them. But because something about his stillness felt dangerous. Real dangerous. Red Hoodie swallowed. Tried to laugh again. It came out wrong. You think because you're some movie guy, you can tell us what to. Hand him his bag, Clint said. Not loud. Not rushed. Final. The crowd leaned in. Phones were recording again. The air felt tight, like a trigger waiting to be pulled. Red Hoodie clenched the envelope in his fist. You don't scare me. Clint stepped forward. One step. And suddenly Red Hoodie stepped back without even realizing it. You already know I don't have to touch you, Clint said quietly. But you also know I will, if you make me. Silence slammed down on the sidewalk. Marcus stood shaking, eyes wide, barely believing what he was seeing. Red Hoodie glanced at his friends. They weren't smiling anymore. One of them muttered, Bro, just give it back. Red Hoodie hesitated. Then scoffed. He threw the backpack on the ground. But he kept the envelope. Happy, he said. Clint's jaw tightened. Pick it up. What? The envelope. Red Hoodie laughed. Nah. Clint exhaled slowly. Then he did something no one expected. He sat down on the bench. Right back where he had been. Folded his hands. And said calmly. Then you'll wait with me. The boys stared. For what? Red Hoodie asked. Clint didn't answer. He just looked at his watch. 10 seconds passed. 20. Then. Sirens. Distant at first. Growing louder. Red Hoodie's smile vanished. What did you do? He asked. Clint finally looked up. I've been sitting here for 15 minutes, he said. And I called the police the moment I saw you touch that kid. The crowd gasped. Phones lifted higher. Red Hoodie panicked. You called the cops. Red Hoodie turned to run. Clint stood. And in one smooth motion, faster than anyone thought possible, he blocked him. Red Hoodie slammed into Clint's chest. Hard. And bounced backward like he'd hit a wall. Clint didn't move. Didn't stumble. Didn't even flinch. He looked down at Red Hoodie. Sit. Red Hoodie froze. Slowly. He sat. Sirens roared closer. People whispered. Is that really Clint Eastwood? No way. That's him. Marcus bent down, trembling, gathering his papers. Clint crouched beside him. You okay, son? Marcus nodded. Barely. Clint handed him the backpack. Then looked up as police cars screeched to a stop. 2 officers jumped out. What's going on here? Clint pointed calmly. These three were robbing him. Red Hoodie tried to speak. Sir. The officer cut him off. We saw everything on live stream. He held up a phone. You're done. Handcuffs clicked. Crowd murmured. The bullies were dragged away. Red Hoodie's face burned with humiliation. Marcus stood there shaking. Clint put a hand on his shoulder. You were brave standing your ground. Marcus swallowed. Thank you. I thought nobody cared. Clint smiled softly. Somebody always cares. You just don't always see them. The crowd erupted. Applause. Cheers. Phones flashing. Clint nodded politely, then walked away like nothing had happened. But the story didn't end there. That night, the video went viral. Millions of views. News headlines. Legendary actor stops street robbery. Clint Eastwood faces down bullies. Hero moment caught on camera. Marcus' mom cried when she saw it. She hugged her son tighter than ever. The bullies were charged. And Marcus? He got a scholarship offer after a local foundation saw his story. Because one quiet man decided to stand up. Not with violence. Not with shouting. But with presence. With courage. With calm power. And from that day forward, Marcus never forgot. You don't have to be loud to be strong. You just have to be willing to stand. If this story moved you, like this video. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications. Because the next story might change the way you see courage forever.